Picture this. You check your bank account this morning. There's money in there, real money, enough to cover your bills, enough to cover an emergency, enough that most people would call you stable. And yet, something in your chest tightens. You close the app, open it again 30 seconds later. Still the same number, still not enough. You skip the coffee, you cancel the dinner plan. You lie awake at 2 a.m. running the same mental calculations you ran at midnight. Here's the part that's hard to explain. You are not broke, you just feel that way. And as of 2026, 216 million Americans feel exactly the same. This is called money dysmorphia, and most of the people who have it don't even know it has a name. For most of human history, financial stress had a clear cause. You didn't have enough money to eat, to pay rent, to survive. The stress matched the reality. Today, something different is happening. Millions of Americans have savings accounts, retirement funds, stable incomes, and yet they feel financially terrified. A recent study found that one in three Americans reports feeling financially distressed, not struggling, distressed. And here's where it gets strange. Many of these people are earning six figures. A 2025 Harris poll surveyed more than 2,000 adults, including over 700 people earning at least $100,000 per year. One in three of those six-figure earners reported feeling financially distressed. Two in three said a six-figure salary no longer feels like wealth. So what exactly is happening? The answer has a name: money dysmorphia. Think about body dysmorphia for a moment. It's a condition where someone looks in the mirror and sees something that isn't there. Flaws that don't exist. Problems that others can't see. Money dysmorphia works the same way. But instead of your reflection, it distorts your financial reality. You look at your bank account and see danger, even when the numbers say otherwise. Your perception and your reality are simply not in agreement, and that gap is quietly making millions of Americans miserable. This isn't a small or niche issue. According to a 2024 Credit Karma study, 43% of Gen Z and 41% of millennials experience money dysmorphia, nearly half of two entire generations. And a separate study found that 29% of all Americans, regardless of age, identify with the condition. That means roughly one in three people you know may be walking around feeling financially broken, despite being financially okay. Even more striking, a Goldman Sachs report found that a quarter of Americans earning over $100,000 say they are living paycheck to paycheck, not because of reckless spending, because their perception of what enough looks like keeps moving. The finish line never gets closer, no matter how fast they run. And for the fifth consecutive year, more Americans say their finances are getting worse, not better, even when the numbers don't support that feeling. That's not a money problem. That's a perception problem. So how does a person end up here? How does someone with savings and a steady income convince themselves they're one step from disaster? There are three main reasons. The first is social media. Every day, your phone shows you a highlight reel: luxury apartments, business class seats, designer wardrobes, vacations that look like they cost more than most people's annual salary. And even when you know, logically, that these images are curated and filtered and sometimes outright staged, your brain still compares. It can't help it. That's how comparison works. What you see online becomes your unconscious measuring stick for normal. And when your life doesn't match that measuring stick, the anxiety begins. Financial experts now describe social media as the single biggest accelerant of money dysmorphia. As one financial therapist put it, the wealthy feel broke because their entire feed is people buying second homes and flying first class. And those who earn less see the same thing and stop trying altogether, overspending just to cope because saving feels pointless anyway. Social media doesn't just make you feel bad, it changes how you behave with money. The second reason is childhood. Many of today's adults, particularly millennials, grew up watching their parents lose jobs in the 2008 recession, watching homes go into foreclosure, watching savings disappear overnight. Those memories don't go away. They become a permanent emotional filter. Even when everything around you today is stable, part of your brain is still back in 2008, waiting for everything to collapse again. This is called financial trauma, and it shapes how people see money for decades, sometimes for life. The third reason is rising costs. Housing, healthcare, groceries, childcare. All of these have become significantly more expensive in recent years. And even when income rises, the feeling of financial progress doesn't follow because costs rise right alongside it. You earn more, but more goes out the door, and you end up in exactly the same psychological place you started, feeling like you're barely keeping up. All three of these forces are happening simultaneously. And for millions of Americans, the result is a constant low-level hum of financial anxiety that never fully goes quiet. Consider Jessica. She's 34. She earns $115,000 a year. She has $40,000 in savings and contributes to her 401k every month. By any objective measure, she's doing well. But she hasn't taken a vacation in 3 years. She debates every purchase, even small ones. And she spends roughly 45 minutes every day of it checking and rechecking her accounts. Not because anything is wrong, because she can't shake the feeling that something is about to go wrong. Then there's Steve. He's 41. He has $380,000 invested, no credit card debt, a paid-off car. His financial advisor has told him he's on track for a comfortable retirement. He doesn't believe it. He refuses to spend money on things he genuinely enjoys. He tells himself he'll relax when he hits the next number. The next number keeps changing. Neither Jessica nor Steve are irresponsible. Neither of them are in financial danger. But both of them are living with the daily emotional weight of someone who is. That's money dysmorphia, and their stories are far more common than most people realize. Here's what makes money dysmorphia more than just uncomfortable. It has real consequences. The first is financial paralysis. People who constantly feel behind, even when they're not, often stop making important financial decisions altogether. They avoid investing because they feel they don't have enough to invest. They delay buying a home, starting a business, or making any major move because financial security never feels real enough to act on. The second consequence is lifestyle sacrifice. Some people with money dysmorphia become so focused on financial fear that they stop living. They never take the trip. They never spend on what actually matters to them. They save and never feel the safety that saving is supposed to provide. The third consequence is mental health. Research shows that money dysmorphia can trigger or worsen anxiety, depression, and chronic stress. 86% of individuals with mental health conditions report that financial stress has made their symptoms worse. And because financial shame is deeply stigmatized, most people suffer quietly. They don't tell their friends. They don't tell their partners. They just keep checking the account and worrying and checking again. You may be experiencing money dysmorphia if you feel financially behind even though your bills are paid. You constantly compare your lifestyle to people you see online. You feel guilty spending money on reasonable things, meals, experiences, small pleasures. You underestimate your own net worth when asked to describe it. You check your bank account multiple times a day, even when nothing has changed. You believe financial disaster is always one unexpected event away, even when you have savings to handle it. If several of those sound familiar, you are not alone. Across America right now, millions of people are nodding at that same list. The feeling is real. The threat is not. The good news is this: money dysmorphia is not permanent. The first step is confronting your actual numbers, not your feelings about them. Write down your income, your savings, your debts, your net worth. Look at the real picture, not the emotional one. Most people who do this for the first time are surprised. The reality is almost always less frightening than the feeling. The second step is redefining your comparison group. Stop measuring yourself against high-market reels. The people on your feed are not your financial peers. They are a curated performance of wealth, often funded by debt, sponsorships, and illusion. Your actual peers, people your age with similar incomes, are probably doing less than you think and worrying just as much as you are. The third step is defining what enough looks like for you, specifically with a number, because without a finish line, you will run forever and always feel behind. Decide what financial security actually means in your life. Write it down, then measure yourself against that, not against a stranger's Instagram. And finally, give yourself permission to spend. Financial health is not about hoarding every dollar until some imaginary future when you finally feel safe. That day will not come on its own. You create it by choosing to believe the numbers, not the fear. Money dysmorphia is one of the most overlooked financial challenges in America today. It doesn't show up on a balance sheet. It doesn't appear in a credit report. It lives in the space between what your account says and what your brain believes. And for 216 million Americans, that space is filled with a quiet, persistent, exhausting anxiety. The next time you check your account and feel that familiar tightness, stop. Ask yourself one question. Are these numbers actually dangerous? Or am I just seeing danger that isn't there? Because sometimes the most important financial move you can make has nothing to do with money. It's learning to see your finances clearly, not through fear, not through comparison, but through reality. If this video made you think about your own relationship with money, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And tell us in the comments, have you ever felt broke when the numbers said otherwise?